I want to thank all you guys for being here, for committing to yourself and committing to your business. And, you know, I'm still in Vegas. I got to go to the GoPro women's event, which honestly, I think for a woman, I can really relate to the people up on stage. I love the GoPro one. But if you had an opportunity to come and you had to pick between one or the other, if you were a woman, and most guys enjoyed being here with all the women anyway, but we are so powerful, seriously. And there's so many people that are, you know, that here and having that conversation around that. And I think Adrian was here. I think he learned a lot. Okay. So I wanted to talk, we're going to talk about develop your why and commit and set your goals. And, you know, Denise was talking about this the other day about interviewing people with the intention of how does that make you feel, right? How does that make you feel? And so what I wanted to talk about was the develop your why, commit and set your goals. So right here, you know, I've got this page here, so I've made some notes. But hopefully all of you guys have gone through it and made some notes of your own. But what do you absolutely love to do? And while it might not be, I remember when I very first started Longevity, and as I started considering it as a business, I started thinking, I don't want to be a vitamin salesperson. That's not who I wanted to be. And that's not who I feel like I am, because I wanted to give people hope, but real hope, right? Real hope about getting financial stability. I came in because I needed to make more money. And our whys are going to change, right? They're going to change along the way, and you got to understand that. So what is it that your longevity can fuel for you? A lot of people want to do, you know, they want to give back to the homeless or create a charity. And so you have to go out and, you know, try to raise money and try to convince all these people to buy into your dream. Well, here at Longevity, what is your dream? What is it you want to do? And how can Longevity fund that for you? What if Longevity could fund that nonprofit that you want to create or donate? What if that Longevity could, you know, figure a way that you could stay home with your kids or bring your husband home or whatever it is? So how can Longevity help fuel whatever it is your why is? And then it said, you know, the next one is like, what do you worry about both now and about in the future? And how would it feel? How would you feel if you didn't have to worry about that anymore? Whatever it is, you know, we've all been in that situation. Maybe it was health issues, maybe it was money issues, whatever it is. How would it feel for you if you were able to do that? I keep thinking about how it's going to feel when Ken doesn't have to go to his job every day. That is just going to be so cool, and we'll get to hang out together and do fun stuff and travel easier. And so that's just going to make me feel free, and it's going to make me feel excited, you know. So as you're going through this, think about the feeling around them. Okay, so what would you do with an extra $500 a month? Maybe for me, and I'm going to talk about this in a little bit more, $500 was like, whoa, I could use $200, right? So maybe the person you're talking to just needs the $200, or maybe they just need to get their products paid for, right? Or maybe I need to be able to make my mortgage, or I need a new car so bad, $500 would help me get a new car. So what is it that $500 a month would do for you? And how would that make you feel? How would that make you feel if you were driving a car that you knew was safe to, you know, to drive your kids around in, right? I think about so many times. I actually had a car when my son was born that broke down on me, and I had to hitchhike when he was like 7 weeks old, if you can imagine that. Luckily, I was in Longmont, but it was in the summertime. He was born in May, and it was hot, and I literally had to stand on the side of the road and hitchhike. This was before cell phones. Okay. So then if money were no object, and if you guys haven't done this, you got to do this. And there's I don't have the link with me, but Frank Kern. Yeah, see, Pamela's like, yeah, I need $250 a month to make a difference in someone is possibly filing for bankruptcy, right? We were that's that problem. I tried to get our house payment reduced $300 a month. That would have saved us, and the bank would not work with us, not at all. All right, so Frank Kern, if you can Google this, Your Perfect Day. He does a little video on how to create your perfect day. And I want you to think about this. It has to be a Groundhog Day. It has to be a day that you can enjoy every single day. And so in my perfect day that I wrote, I'm spending the day with my husband. I have lunch with my kids. I have, or lunch with my son, dinner with my daughter. It makes me smile when I read this perfect day. I mean, I can hear the ocean in the background, right? So obviously I'm somewhere there's an ocean. I'm driving in an all black car, which I already have, but I don't know why I wrote that in my perfect day scenario, but I did. And so Frank Kern talks about what it means to have a perfect day and what it means to be doing the things that you love and enjoy every single day. So incorporate those. And one of the things that I said is that I get up in the morning, I do my meditation, I do my reading, what have you. I, eat a great healthy breakfast. And then I get on the phone and talk to my friends that are my partners in my business. And every time I read this, it makes me smile. So in the beginning, you may have things like, well, I want a good job, or I want this, or I want that. But expand from that. Expand into creating your own reality, creating what you really want, not what you think society wants you to have. Because when I first wrote mine, it was so boring. I was like, this isn't good. This isn't even making me feel good. I'm in a job, I'm doing this, whatever it was. And I have it somewhere, but I just don't have it in front of me right now. But anyway, and then I started writing, about driving into my garage and feeling so comfortable and safe in the vehicle that I was driving. Because at the time when I wrote this, I didn't feel I had a safe vehicle. And waking up in the morning and listening to the breeze, blowing through the windows and the white sheets. And I mean, write how you feel, I have this really big thing around feeling safe because I moved around so much. I always wanted a home to come back to, right? There were times when I was a kid, I got in the car and we drove away and I never saw that house again. And so I always wanted a place that I could come back to, a base that I could come back to. So whatever makes you feel good. And I mean, while you are writing it, if you don't have a smile on your face, then it's the wrong thing. Start over again and dream bigger. And then what's your why? So one of the things, again, when I first started doing this, my why was to get the products paid for. Okay. And then once I did that, then my why was to be able to buy healthier food. I don't know if any of you have heard my story about the top ramen. I did a training on this. And, we had a case of flipping top ramen at our house because my son's buddy bought him a case because he thought that was our favorite meal. And we were only eating that because that's all we could really afford. So then I wanted to be able to buy, healthier food. Then I wanted to get a new car. I had to make enough money to get a new car, right? And what did that look like? And I did it. I qualified for, the 1-star, and I got a car bonus, and I was able, and as a matter of fact, I was looking for a new car before I actually qualified for it. And my husband's like, I can't believe you're shopping for a new car. You don't even have the bonus yet. I said, but I know I will. And I did. By the time the car payment came, I had my bonus. And so that just inspired me all the more. Okay, then I wanted to travel more. Have you guys seen my Facebook page? Do I get to travel more? Before, I couldn't go anywhere because I couldn't afford to have that money out of my budget. But now I can. And I remember writing down about having an extraordinary life. And you know what? I'm living an extraordinary life. And it just keeps getting better and better and better. And so now my next goal, and honestly, if I wasn't, don't say this too loud, but if I wasn't traveling, I probably could retire Ken. But I don't want him to know that. Okay, D, mom's the word. But, right? But guess what? I want to travel. And I'm getting closer and closer and closer. But I'm just so thankful, right? And that, yeah, and being thankful for all of that and appreciating everything that comes to you, no matter what it is. I remember the first convention, the first convention I went to, I drove out in a Kia minivan that was like a cardboard box with 4 wheels on it with 4 strange men and with a sleeping bag. And I knew when I got there, I'd have a place to stay. And I did. And I swore then, I committed at that convention that I would be at every single convention after that. And I have. And eventually I was like, okay, I want to have a room with only 4 women instead of 5 or 6, because I stayed in rooms where we had cots and people on the floor, right? And as it's moved up, as my income has moved up, I've been able to share a room with 4. Or I just went on that cruise and I was able to do that. And this weekend I stayed in a room. It was just the 2 of us. We had our own bed and everything. So, right? What are your goals? What is it that you're striving for? What is it that you're looking for? And your goals are going to change. Your goal today might be to not have to eat top ramen every night. Your goal today might be, I need enough money to get a new car that I trust, that I feel I can drive my kids around on, and your goal today might be, I just need enough money not to have to file bankruptcy. And what does that look like? And how do you feel? I was thinking about this feeling of joy inside of the things that are going on and the things that are happening. And it's just because of consistency. And Dee and I were talking about that today. What you do today shows up tomorrow. What you do tomorrow shows up, 90 days from now. And just as long as you're moving and moving and moving through the process, things are just going to continue to show up. Pamela, do you have anything you want to add around that?
Yeah, you're doing a great job. Everybody, I want you to know, Marianne is running on fumes after being in Vegas for this incredible training that she's been a part of. And I know how it feels because I was there for GoPro in November and I was really, really sick. And so I know it takes so much out of you. It's so funny. So because she said, you take the lead, well, you're just on fire. And I'm just so excited to hear all this. But there are a couple things when you go through the Longevity University training, it's really great because it helps you to be able to help your people to do the exact same things, to create consistency in your team. And, one of the things that is mentioned in the video and in the recording from Alex, so we've got Paul Croto in one section and Alex Tyson another, people do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. Use feeling when you're going through and answering these questions. Just like Marianne said, we want to make sure that you are feeling this because that's what's going to make the rubber meet the road. You need to make sure that you are creating something that is memorable in multiple facets of your life and in your body. We often will take care of others before ourselves. Therefore, create 1 or 2 whys for those you love, the people that will be impacted by your success level and the things that you do. So think about that as you go through and put your why in there. Think about those people around you because it will create motivation. It'll get you excited to want to do it because sometimes for ourselves, we put it on the back burner, and then it becomes time after time, whether it's weeks, months, years, and then your dreams are never satisfied. So include those around you as a part of this process. Paul talks about a really neat thing that he did. Go out and test drive the car that's your dream car. Go out and do it. Feel it. Know what it's like. Who knows? Maybe that's not the car that you want when you actually get out there. But maybe if that is the car that you want, you have that feeling, you smell that new leather smell inside and you're like, oh, this is the one that I want. And now you felt it, you know what it's like, you've got to be able to experience it. And as I had typed in there, Paul Crotto's doing a leadership training with Cheryl Morley for all of us on Thursday afternoons. And part of our homework exercise was imagining ourselves 10 years from now and being thankful for the things that we did for us to get there. And that's really critical. So that's an important part of all of this, is knowing how you're going to be able to do it and being thankful for it in the process. This is part of what's called the art of fulfillment. So seeing it, feeling it, knowing it to be true of what's going to happen, and push yourself to grow. Get out of your comfort zone. It is not, doing the same old is not going to get you anything different. It's like the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So you have to be able to do something differently to achieve something greater than what you have now. So think about those things that you love to do, and those things that you love to do can be part of your purpose, but they can also be the part of your dream. So think about whether it's helping people. For our family, it's going on cruises, spending time with the family, walking on the beach, dancing, being carefree, not worrying about things. What are the things that you worry about? Whether you're financially secure or free, being able to do whatever you want without worry, without having to say, oh, gee, I better make sure that this is covered. Having the ability to do things for other people in your family or friends, or the mission work that you want to do. Those things that will drive you to excitement. And I love that, like we were talking about before, if money were no object, what would your perfect day look like? Sleeping until you wake up naturally, right? I hate the alarm. That is like the worst thing from the time I was a kid. I do not like getting up early, but if I get up early naturally, I'm really happy. It's the alarm that really messes with my day. Being able to do the things you want, to think of it, feel it, smell it. You're sitting at the ocean, you smell the salt air, and you're having a cup of tea with your husband or your wife or your friend or your kids, or however this is for you. Planning trips, spending time with those special people in your life, and what you need to do, putting in place all the things that are mentioned above is where your why will come from. And these are the driving forces. And so that's what I think we've got. Oh, the one other thing, on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you on a scale of 1 to 10 to do whatever? And so when you're working with people on your team, ask them those questions. How committed are you? Are you willing to step out and do what's necessary to make those things happen? So I think that's all I've got. If anybody else has anything to add, we can move on to developing your story. What do you think about that?
Anybody got any questions, or they want to share something? Because I think it's important for you to do this so you can help your team do this, right? You have to understand what it means to get a true why. You have to understand what it takes to make an extra $500 or $200 or $1,000. You have to understand that so you can help your team by plugging them in here. Then they're going to understand how to do it.
Right. And there are nuances. There are nuances to that too, because as you go through the comp plan, as you progress and are more successful, there are little different things that will change, requirements that have to be in place that you can't just willy-nilly go through the end of the month. You have to have them in order. So if you're going for that 1 star, you should be mapping it out on a daily basis. You should be planning it so you know what you're getting into, and 2 star and on.
One thing I wanted to mention, and Cheryl Morley was talking about this. Her daughter was crying all the time whenever she was going to go travel. And so finally she took her over to the window and she said, you look, see out there? That's where our swimming pool is going to go. Now I've got to travel because I'm building this swimming pool, right? And so she goes, okay, Mom, can I help you pack? And one of the things that they talked about up on stage was about getting your family's buy-in. They may not buy into network marketing, but they could buy into the goal that you have around network marketing. They could buy into the fact that, hey, don't you guys like Pamela was saying, let's plan a family vacation. I'm going to work hard and this is going to be our goal. And we're going to go to Disneyland, or, you know, or we're going to get a new car. And that means we can go see grandma more often, or, you know, whatever it is, but get your family, you know, obviously with the fact that I'm retiring my husband one of these days, you know, he's bought into what I'm doing. I don't know for how much longer, because he's like, hurry up. But anyway, we're getting closer. But you see what I'm saying? Because then here's what I said when my kids were a little bit younger, because I've been at this for about 10 years now, 8 years in longevity. And I actually was in that another company with Sanjeev's prior to being in longevity. But I would always tell my kids, instead of saying I need to go work now, I would say, I'm going to go build our future. So when I went into the office, I was building our future. I wasn't just in there working. But it just, you know, I got more buy-in that way. All right. Anybody have anything? I can't see everybody.
Dee, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I just make sure your dreams are big. Everybody has, you know, certain dreams, and they don't have to be huge. I mean, one of the things is I don't dream about a 35,000 square foot mansion. That just isn't me. But I do dream about maybe remodeling my home. Your dreams need to be a reflection of you. And a couple of years ago, there was a couple in our town that they were with another company, and they posted on, look at this car that we're going to achieve. It was like a Jaguar or something. And it wasn't about the dreams that you could help other people achieve. It was, you can help me achieve this, you know, this is what I'm going to do. And so when you're mapping out your dreams, make sure that they can see their dreams too. It's not just helping you build your dream. Yeah.
Exactly.
I love that, Dee. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about this next portion here, developing your story. And seriously, you guys, stories sell. I don't care how much you know about the products or what, you know, how many vitamins. I don't even know. I can't even tell you. Somebody can rattle off, you know, 15 vitamins, this many minerals. I don't have that in my head, because that's not why people buy. And the other thing, we were talking about this weekend, and somebody said, people are always coming up to me and going, well, my company's so good and blah, 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 blah. What's the difference between your company and my company? And here's what I say. And I told her this. I said, the difference between your company and my company is, in my company, you get me. You get me. You're not going to get me if you're going over there. And that's okay. If they don't want me, that's okay. But are you the kind of person that people say, wow, you know, always think about the commercial where the girl's washing her hair, you know, and then the guy's like, yeah, whatever, I want what she's got, right? People are watching you. People are seeing you. Are you being the best you can be, and sharing this in a way that, like Dee said, you know, it's not about what my dreams are. What does Dee want to accomplish, right? What does Pamela want to be doing? How can I help you guys get your goals? My goals will come. I have my goals over here. I know what I'm working towards. But what are you working towards? How can I help you with that? And so developing your story is really, again, one of the most powerful aspects of network marketing. And once you get your whys down, right? Once you do the first part of this, then telling your story and understanding how your why is so powerful into what you're doing. And like Dee said, you know, it relates to people. My why relates to people. And so, again, how's that going to make you feel? So one of the things, you know, it says here, remember 2 things, right? Facts tell, but stories sell. And the number one reason people will join your business or try the product is you. It's you. That's why people come. So he gives you some tips on how to create a story, how to tell your story. And one of the things, you know, is like, never exaggerate, right? So don't make it more than it really is. Never overcomplicate your story. One of the things was we did this with my local team where we stood in front of a camera and told our story. And then those of us that sat in the audience, we kind of critiqued it. And I kept getting people to narrow it, get it smaller. He didn't think they could, you know, but the next thing you know, we're doing 90 seconds and he says 30 to 90 seconds. How quick can you tell your story? You don't have to go into every single detail, even about every product that you took. And so he has that the training, I don't know if it's in this, but the training on, you know, oh, where is it? I saw it. Okay. What was going on in your life prior to longevity? You know what? My husband and I, our health was starting to decline and we were starting to get worried. We started looking at our friends and seeing how they were their health was starting to decline, and we didn't want to go there. And a really good close friend of mine was using these products, and she shared with us how that could help us, right? And I'm doing this really quick, but you know, I started, it says, what products did you start using for how long, and what has been your experience? So, you know, you might say I started using the 90 for Life or the bone and joint pack, and that really changed stuff. What do you want to say, Pam? Do you want to say something?
Yeah. You know what? I want to tell a little bit of a story about that, because that's what I want people to understand is when you start talking about this particular part about the products you use, really, really get to the heart of it. So, for example, people who know me know that I have had a private practice for neuromuscular therapy, specializing in the alleviation of chronic pain and correction of dysfunctional biomechanics. What that means is people come to me, they're a mess, they hurt, and I would fix them. Okay. So I've dealt with a lot of people with a lot of pain issues. And so a lot of these products have helped my patients tremendously. And I was able to retire my practice to be able to do this on a more full-time basis. So I can say to them, gee, you know what? I was recommending to my patients OsteoFX to help with their bone issues and joint issues. A lot of them having rheumatoid arthritis and other things. Now, remember, we can't say we treat, prevent, cure, or mitigate disease. However, if we have a story that is talking about a testimony that I was having this type of an issue before, I used this and I didn't have that issue anymore. I noticed that this was different. And so for me, one of the things that I will tell people is that I was recommending for my patients to take OsteoFX because it is for bone and joint health. And so I would make shakes for my husband every morning to get up and go to breakfast at like 4:30 in the morning when he would leave early to go to the airport. And then there was one morning where he was home, and so he made me breakfast, and we had eggs. So I didn't make the shakes. I didn't put the, our BTT and osteo together in a shake. And I had taken the BTT separately and had taken all my other stuff, but the only thing I didn't have was the osteo, and I had all this pain. And he said, what did you do differently? And I said, well, I didn't take my osteo. And I said, it can't be that good. It can't be. And so I took the osteo in a glass of milk, and within 10 minutes, the pain that I had in my hand was gone. And I had thought that it was like the weather, the radar, a storm was coming, that my hand was inflamed. And I was like, holy cow, I now see this. And this is a passionate thing where you can say, I was in pain, I took it, I wasn't in pain anymore. So I told you the long story, but the short story is really keep it simple. So I can tell you on a scientific level why it works. You don't have to. You just need to say, hey, listen, you're my friend, you're my family member, I deal with this, and you know that I don't have that problem anymore. And so that's where I want you to be thinking about this is what has been your experience or result. I just wanted to jump in and share that kind of a thought.
Yeah, so now my husband and I, we're not on any prescriptions. Our health is, we feel better than ever. And now I want to share with other people. I want other people to have the same experience and not have to be on medications and not have to live their life in, one prescription away from the next prescription. That's what I want to do. I have several stories, okay, several ways to tell my story. And so that's what you need too. You need a business story. I can tell the business story, right? And you need a product story. I mean, what is it? And if you don't have a business story, use somebody else's business story. Use you go, God, my upline, she, her car wasn't good. She worked enough to get a car, and whatever it is that people are looking for. Again, factual stuff. And he talks about this, having a business story and having a product story. Okay, so the next thing is, anybody have any questions around that? Does anybody want to? Because if you get that story down and you can tell that story and people are looking at you, and then they're like, wow, I want to know more. And then you tell them more, but you don't throw up. So many people put up this little picture up on the screen where people were vomiting on people, and they're like, don't do that. Just don't do that. And I know in the beginning it's hard, but just stop yourself. Just think to yourself, this is what I would say. I am vomiting on this person right now to myself. And I need to get out of what I'm saying here and ask them a question. And that's how I quit vomiting on people. Oh, do you want to share something? Go ahead. Oh, wait. Okay. Go ahead.
I actually have a sticky note on my computer that says don't vomit on them, because I've been talking to people on the phone, new prospects. Right. And the first phone call I made, we were on the phone forever, and I know I didn't vomit the product on her or the program. I vomited me on her. And so I put a sticky note on my computer that says don't vomit on them, because I have to remind myself just to shut up. Yeah.
I know. A lot of people go, oh, so-and-so would be so great. She can talk to anybody. I said, yeah, but can she listen? Can she listen to anybody? And they talked about that tons up on stage. Okay, so the next, does anybody else have anything they want to add on that? About not vomiting, or about telling their story, or you either got to put something in the messages or unmute yourself and say something, because there's quite a few people on.
Or just wave your hand and we'll unmute you. And
yes, wave your hand.
Uh-oh, what's Brenda? Right. Brenda's got the L on her forehead. What's she doing?
What? Where?
I think she's talking to somebody else while we're doing this.
Oh, Brenda. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So the other side, and I feel weird because my hair is like falling in my eyes. So just deal with it. Is commit to your longevity business. And I think so many times when we come in, we don't really, it's not a job. If we got a job, we'd commit to showing up at 8:00 in the morning and leaving at 5:00 or whatever. But we don't do that around our business, right? We don't do that around our network marketing business. But if you think about it, this really is a business, and it's a lot better business. So commit to yourself. How many hours are you going to work? And one of the things that I learned this a long time ago, which I thought was kind of a cute thing, was to take a calendar. And because people are like, I'm so busy. And I'm like, all right, here's what I want you to do. I want you to take this calendar and I want you to cross off all the times you cannot do your longevity business, which normally they say, write down all the times you can do, right? I want you to write down all the times you cannot, all the commitments you have, all the meetings you have. And then we'll look at it and go, all right, Saturday morning, you've got from 8 to 10 on Saturday morning, there's 2 hours. On Wednesday evenings, you got from, 5 to 7, and figure out the times that are going to work. So you don't feel like, I'm just too busy. I can't give anything up. And we'll talk more about giving up stuff and what's important later on. What, Miss Pamela?
If you'd like this to pay you like your job or to replace your job, then we lost the picture. Then
I don't know what happened to you.
I don't know either. It's weird. Hold on.
Oh.
Did you undo?
Hey, I look really good. My hair.
You do look so cute. Okay, if you want to get paid like this is your job, then you better set your hours like it's your job. So you need to understand. Yeah. Start my video. There we go. You need to understand that you're going to have to make that commitment to your business. If you expect to get something that much out of it, then you need to make sure you put the commitment into it to get there. Does that make sense, everybody?
It's true. I think I accidentally stopped your video, so I apologize about that. Okay. All right. So then they have the little chart on here, right, where you can write down. Sunday, I'm going to work from this time to that time. Monday, and maybe some of these days you're not going to get time to work, and that. And so you know, maybe you have 3 hours on Tuesday, but you have 0 hours on Monday, whatever it looks like. But hold yourself accountable, or find somebody else that can hold yourself accountable. And then it said, will you use the products? There's all, this one is similar to the Star School one. It's a little bit different, but I'm going to use this one. It says, you know, you use the products daily. To use the products, how can you be a product of your product if you're not actually taking the products? All right. And then, you know, keeping plugged in. I did a whole training on around seek the knowledge, right? If it's something that's important to you and you wanted to know something, you'd Google it, you'd watch a video, you'd do whatever it takes to learn something. So stay plugged in to your longevity, you know, via the Facebook pages. Okay, personal growth. This is, everybody talked about this on stage. And it says, I will commit to at least 20, I'd say 20 to 30 minutes per day of personal development. And what does that look like? That might be for you just to be journaling, right? That might be, I have a buddy that would watch YouTube videos, you know, different YouTube videos in the morning about, you know, pumping up. I read a lot, I shouldn't say read, I audible a lot of personal development books. I think I have 3 in the works right now. So about things that I want to get better at, leadership, right? I'm reading that Joe Dispenza is about change, what is the title of that? Change your mind. How to change your mind. Pamela, do you know what that, Google that, Joe Dispenza, something about, I get the title, it's on my phone, but I'm using my phone as a hotspot right now. But, you know, it's like, when she gives you the title, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay, I review my why on a daily basis. We got to know why we're doing this. And like I said, your why is going to change. It's going to get bigger. Dream bigger. Look at the things that you can do that get you passionate about your why. People always say, oh, your why.
Change from the inside out?
No.
No, different one?
Yeah, it's a different, let me see if I can get my Audible up. But anyway, so what was I just saying? I'll see if I can pull this up. But anyway, it's one of those things where, what is it that you want to work on? So I want to work on my thought process, right? So it says breaking the habit of being yourself. Sometimes there's things about us that we don't like. And it's not even so much that, is we want to create a paradigm shift around those things that are holding us back. So if we're procrastinating, what I was going to say is, I don't like the comment of find a why that makes you cry as much as I like find a why that makes you work. Now right? Find a why that will make you show up every day for longevity. So this is breaking the habit of being yourself, how to lose your mind and create a new one. So there's some things, right? Some thought process, some programs that I've had in my life, and many of them I've worked on getting rid of them, but there's still some more, right? So I'm constantly wanting to improve myself. I want to be better because I want to be better for you. I want to be better for you guys. I want to be able to help you guys be better. And so for me to be better in my leadership or in training or whatever it is, right? And change your bad habits into better habits. And there's lots of ways to go about doing that. Lots of great books out there to help you with that. Okay. And so set some goals. Here they've got a couple of goals that says, you know, when are you going to make your first $100 in longevity? What rank is it that you want to get to? You know, mine was, I wanted to get a car bonus because I really wanted a new car. I had to get a new car. You know, what's your monthly income in the next 90 days? And for me, in the beginning, like I said, it was just to get my products paid for. That's what was important to me. I didn't have extra money to buy the products, but I knew I wanted the products. And then when will I earn my first, you know, $1,000? It might not be $1,000 for you. It might be $5,000. You know, the rank might be the brick rank, right? The senior sales associate rank, whatever it is. But just these are just ideas of things for you to pick out and see what your goals are. And then Denise said, you know, I think it was on stage, but she said, yeah, I would reward myself, right? I might be able to go get a pedi, or I might be able to go get a massage, or I might, you know, guys, I don't know, whatever you guys like to do, but you know, you might, for my son, my husband, it might be ammo. He likes to buy ammo. But what, you know, what is it that you can treat yourself a little something, right? So that it just keeps going. Try not to do food. It's not good. Chocolate, cake, none of that stuff. You know, we're in a health, but that's how I would treat it. But don't say that. But anyway.
Chocolate's okay.
Chocolate's okay. Chocolate, good chocolate, healthy chocolate.
That's
okay,
right.
Pamela, what do you want to add to all that?
Oh my goodness. This is really terrific. Yeah. Let's see. I will review my why on a daily basis to keep it clear in my mind and keep me focused on the exciting possibilities instead of challenges. So focus on those positive, good things. And then making that commitment to your business of sharing longevity with at least 2 people a day, at least 5 a week, and set up 3-way calls with upline or team members. And commit at least 1 full year of the longevity business. I will be here in a year. And, you know, it's kind of like, think about the 1-step programs of doing things 1 day at a time. You're doing this 1 day at a time every single day, and just keep going forward. When you have these things, like I have a dream board set up in my office, and I've got all my landmarks of what I want to be able to achieve. And for example, when I updated my my dream board, one of the things that used to be up there was debt free. Debt free doesn't have to be up there anymore because that's not a dream, that's a reality. So I don't have to do that. You can either have it up there, yay, have it up there and say debt free and say done, or you can just take it off and know that you're going to keep going on to the other things that are there. And so I have, one of the other things I did was retire my practice. And I did that 2 years ago in February. So I have retire practice. Yes. Focus on the network marketing business full time. Yes. You know, all those other things you can do. And that's exciting to see the things that you've accomplished, whether it's taking them off or whether it's just affirming them as being there. I must become a 5-star and make $10,000 a month of residual income, and then have dates, you know, helping others 6 or more 1-stars on or before 5/31/2020, things like that. Having things up there, pictures, you know, the things that you can see so that you can create this as a visible, viable truth for yourself. And so that eventually what you see there is a picture of what is actually in your life. And so that's what you need to do, is make that commitment. And sometimes just making the commitment to creating a dream board is a big deal. So once you get that up there, then you're like, wow, I have to look at this every day. And I've got to look at the car that I want. I have to look at my condo on the beach. I have to look at, you know, the money I'm going to make, or my family members that I'm helping, or the trips that we're going to do, or the people we're going to be helping in the process. You know, all those different things. Anything that's going to get you excited is what you should have there, so they can help you to keep this commitment. Because remember, the emotion of it will create a greater attachment for you.
Okay, so I wanted to share something, because I have to admit, when I very first got into network marketing, I could not dream at all. I couldn't dream at all. I mean, all I was worried about was, you know, if we were going to make enough money to put food on our table, if we were going to have enough. And here's what I would do every day. Oh, God, please just help me make enough money to pay all my bills. I'd pay all my bills, but guess what? I had nothing left over for groceries. What the heck was I thinking? I wasn't asking for it. I needed more than enough money to pay my bills and to buy healthy food for my family, right? I needed more than enough. And so I just remember Trish and I sitting in our first, you know, couple meetings, and they would talk about dreaming and vacations and cars and what have you. And I mean, seriously, we sat there with tears in our eyes, because we both had been in such financial straits, you know, and our hands were tied. We felt like our hands were tied, and we didn't have any hope. But as we started, you know, really understanding and started making money and started having our products for free and started being able to do all this stuff, and then we'd sit in a meeting and some poor person would sit there, and we're like, we know how you feel. You know, we couldn't dream either when we got here. And so your dream board might be just those things, right? Just getting a car, or just buying better food, whatever it is, that's okay, because that it'll come. And then you make another dream board, or you add on to it, and you just keep growing your dreams. And now I'm looking at stuff like, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I never, I travel almost every flipping month. And I promised Ken, I'm going to be home now for a month or two. Oh, but I'm going to be in Estes Park in May. But that's not really too far away, right? Pamela, what do you want to say?
It really struck a chord for me when you said about you couldn't have the chance to dream, because there was a person when we were doing one of our trainings that I remember, they said, I can't see that. And to me, that was so hard. And I thought, wow, not to be able to have the ability to, to envision it, or to want something to a point, to have been in such a difficult spot. But like you were saying, even if you put up on a dream board pictures of healthy food, being able to eat things better, being able to make things more simply, or you don't want to have to go to the laundromat and you can have a washer dryer where you live, something simple like that. But it reminded me of a patient that I had where and one of the techniques I use is called edge, where I compress until the point where it's right before it becomes painful, and I'm compressing and I'm asking her to give me edge, and she's not saying anything. And I said, are we there yet? Meanwhile, I know, because I can feel it. I know I'm way past edge. I'm going, wait a minute. And I just kind of stopped. And she said, no, I can't feel that. So this poor woman was in so much pain that her body had numbed itself. And so it was months of therapy before I finally was able to go in and do the work. And she goes, oh, I feel it right there. So we went first from numbness to pain to no pain. And so that sometimes it can be that bad, where you're going from being destitute to being able to have your needs met, to being able to dream, right? And so I pray that for those that are here, that we can help inspire and instill in you that ability to know that there is so much more out there for you. God doesn't think in terms of, of minute
lack of.
Think about it. Think about it. If you didn't take care of your garden, even the weeds will overtake, because they think in surplus, right? They're just going to keep going, because that's the bounty that exists that God creates for us. And so if he will do that for the weeds, think about what he will do for us, created in his image. So think about that. Think about the bounty that is available for us. And the only limitations we have are the perceptions that we create in ourselves.
And I think most people are walking around with this thought of, what do I want to say? Not abundance, the reverse of that. There's never the lack of, that's what we're trained. That's how we're trained to think, is that, there's limitations, but there's not, there's always abundance. I can remember like somebody, don't talk to this person because, they're in another company, or, they're all worried. There are more than enough people to recruit into network marketing, more than enough. And so if you keep thinking to yourself that there's more than enough people, they're going to show up. If you keep thinking that to yourself that all the people that you talk to are broke, guess what? They're going to show up. If you, and Denise is doing that money mindset, we're going to see if we can not conflict with Paul Corotto. I haven't had a chance to text her yet, but this money mindset of lack of, right? And what was funny was when I changed my thought process, I have found more people have more than enough money to buy these products, right? More than enough money to get what they need to get, to the point where like they're even buying extra stuff. So when I was broke in my mind, everybody I talked to was broke as well. Now that I'm not broke in my mind, the people I talk to have abundance, because that's who I'm attracting, right? Those are the people that I want to share my life with. One of the things they talked a lot about is circle of influence. Who is your circle? And we talk about that. You know, are you hanging out with people that have a mindset of a lack because that's where they're at? Or are you hanging out with people who have a mindset of abundance? And what I love about these type of events that we come to is you're hanging out with people who have the same mindset, right? They know there's more. I know there's more. You know there's more. And that's how we have to, you know, that's how we have to believe in what, we have to watch our language, and we have to believe in what we're doing. And then the people around us will believe in what we're doing. All right. Does anybody have anything else? I've got like 21% on my battery on my computer here. So does anybody want to say anything, ask any questions, allude to anything?
I want to invite someone to say something if Colleen is able to come on. There was a conversation that she and I had with the texting, and she said she was talking about putting her focus on something. So Colleen, can I unmute you? Do you mind?
Hello?
There you are.
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. Well, so
I can hear you.
all right. So we were talking before about focus, and remember, you have an issue with a car that's a Focus, right, or a Ford car, right? And you said, I need to focus on getting a new car, and I said you need to pick a different word. And so I gave you a bunch of different words, right? And so just talk about that a little bit, about what that was going on.
Well, the car we rented, it's basically what I heard what you said about what Paul Proto said, test drive a car. We are in a car that I regret turning it in tomorrow. I don't want to return it. It's been like everything we're kind of looking for. So I'm pretty much test driving the car that is my destiny, that I want to have in my future and get away from my focus.
Exactly. And so when she said, I need to focus on getting a car, I said, let's pick a different word. And so destiny was one of the words that we came up with. And so, you know, you can make this a reality. And how does that feel, Colleen?
It feels great. It feels, you know, there's a lot of confidence of what I now want and what I'm now looking forward to, especially after this weekend. There was so much that I took in, and I have to laugh because I have Emily in the car, and we were, you know, when Eric Worre said, when you have six figures in so many years, you know, and Emily's like, I want to have seven figures. She's not thinking small, she's thinking big, and I just think that's amazing, you know, and that I felt great that I took her to this event. So.
It really is a blessing. And Emily is she going to be a teenager? Or is she going to be 12?
She'll be 13 in 2 weeks.
She'll be 13 in 2 weeks. Okay. So just so you all know that this is the kind of destiny that Colleen is creating for her daughter, who is going to be 13 in 2 weeks. She brought her to the Ladies GoPro event to be able to participate and watch and listen and learn. And when we were in Dallas last summer for convention, Emily was up on stage with Doc Wallach as one of the inspirational kids of longevity. And Emily was also one of the top people, if you were there, downstairs helping to sell the jewelry to people, because she had this ability to walk up and had no fear. It was just all out of love and wanting to help people. And she'd say, this is the necklace that would be good for you. Oh, and wait, there's a pair of earrings that would match it perfectly. Let me get them for you. And so she would go back and forth with people. It was just astounding. And so I just give kudos to Colleen and Keith and to Emily for this commitment to their future as a family.
Thank you. She became quite the, people were stopping us and wanting to get to know her at the convention. So that was amazing for me too. And thanking me for bringing her, because they thought it was so powerful that I brought her.
Oh yeah, I think it was great, and she was just a doll, and what an inspiration to have some of those kids of other network marketers that finally kind of bought into what their parents were doing and decided to join them. And she's already in. We already know that. All right, you guys. Anybody have anything else? I think we can. Nope. Thanks for coming. All right, so next week, and if you guys have, obviously get with people if you have any questions about what we went over with. But next week, we're going to talk about your prospecting list. And this is your business plan, folks. This right here is your business plan. Who are you going to talk to? And this talks about how to put a prospecting list together. But obviously, if you're part of 65 and a Wake Up, you have a prospecting list, which is amazing. All right, you guys, I love you. Thank you so much. Thanks for being on, Pamela. Thank you for helping. And
Love you, honey.
I had a little more to contribute than I thought. So thank you for that. Thanks for being there for me. All right.
Travel
Love
safe.
you guys.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right.
Love you.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you, guys.
Love you. Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you, guys. All right.
Love
Good
you all.
week.
God bless.
All right. God bless.